And that's why Kaiko's is staying the night. Even though I hadn't done anything wrong, I nodded silently like a child that had been reprimanded. Oh. No, I was like looking over here, like at these two, and then my eye just looked over and saw Saki with this fucking face. Saki was no longer sitting on me, and I was hunched down on my knees next to the sofa. I just like to meddle all the time. Club Press smiled wryly, and Alice seemed unimpressed, unsurprised about the whole ordeal. It looked like at least those two understood, but... Because you weren't out in the rain, locked out of your house. There was still one person who was unconvinced by my testimony. Perhaps she even found it incomprehensible. My self-proclaimed sister's smiling face had moved beyond that of just a smile and was now downright frigid. That's because there's no real need for you to stay at my apartment. Even if she got rained on and soaked, it would be better and easier to have Takahara-san or somebody even from the company to come pick her up. Saki should know that there was no real need for her to spend the night at my apartment too. A little bit, because it's not going to be her route. Club Press poked me with a grin that looked like she was playing around with an amused toy. Look, the thing is, there's only one place to sleep in my apartment. It's not a place for anyone to spend the night without a good reason, okay? The bed was actually a full-size mattress, but I wanted them to turn a blind eye to that. No, that's... For a second, it felt like Saki's anger had hardened into a knife and was pressed up against my throat. No, we're not. Hirasaka is using the bed and I'm on the sofa. God, Jesus. Alice and Saki breathed sighs of relief while Club Press clicked her tongue and pouted for some reason. Classic. Huh? Had I told Alice about sleeping with Saki? There were places where my memory was foggy. Could it be that I didn't remember all of my dreams? Dun dun dun! Oh yeah, you just had to say that too, huh? Uh-oh. Before Hirasaka could finish speaking, Saki started walking towards the doors. She silently tried the doorknobs, but the door gave no sign of opening. Saki, what are you doing?
弁明とか詳しい説明は起きてからきちっと聞くから。だから今はもう何も言わなくていいわよ。兄さんってば、本当に。
Oh my god. But it didn't look like the doors were gonna open.
ああ、もう、どうすればこの夢から目を覚ませるの？
Well, you see, Saki, Maya's gonna come in through the doors, and then we're gonna go through Kaiko's dream, and it's gonna be a crazy mess.
扉の鍵は作れるけど、起きれるわけじゃないからね。違う夢に行けるだけだし。
What? I thought we theorized that if we open the doors and go out, we just wake up. Huh. She materialized a key in her hands and skillfully tossed it into the air before catching it with one hand. Club Prez murmured, such skill, but she was probably referring to Alice making the key rather than throwing it and catching it, because anyone can do that.
なるほど。その手があったわね。
だから、鍵作って開けても別の夢の世界に行くだけで起きられるわけじゃないんだって。
Maybe she wants to be somewhere else.
行き先をイメージしなければいいんじゃないかしら。起きるだけならこれでいいと思うの。
Oh, well, that might be... Dude, there are so many theories. Saki gave a sweet smile, reminiscent of a flower mid-bloom. But for some reason, to me, it looked like that flower was native to a cold and frigid land. Like Skyrim. She lifted her skirt and ran her hand along her leg. There was a handgun rather uncouthly hidden there. Ignoring how everyone froze at the sight of it, Saki shot the edge of the door without hesitation, right where it was locked. Saki! Bang, bang! Sharp snaps like the sound of balloons popping rang out. Everyone covered their ears and cowered in response to the shots. Once the bullets were used up, Saki carelessly threw the handgun away. Oh, was she Reaper?
危ないってうわリアルね
Kaiko's like, what the fuck? Club Press caught the gun before it hit the floor. She ran her hand along it as a nervous expression appeared on her face. Then she gave me a look which implicitly asked, are you the reason she's into this? Look, I don't know why. She works she's part, her family owns a security company, so maybe that has something to do with it? I don't know. But that was wrong. It wasn't me. I was pretty sure it had to do with her family circumstances. Yeah, that. Saki kicked the broken part and bent it before trying to open it again. But now the doorknobs wouldn't turn at all, and they made an unpleasant noise as if they were broken. Thanks, Saki.
さきちゃんが壊した
Now we can't actually get out of here.
強情な。
Oh, burbles. Wait. Don't just pull out all these dangerous things. What she had tried to pull out of her sleeve this time. Guessing from her movements, maybe it was a sword. I thought she was going to pull out a rocket launcher. That's what I would have done.
騒がしい夢ですね
Yeah, it gets a little Riley up in here. Hirasaka, who had been watching us in silence, muttered, then sighed.
まあどうせ夢なんでいいですけど
It is, but this is reality.
そう思ってられんのも今のうちだけどね
Hirasaka sulkingly looked at Club Prez, who seemed to be making fun of her.
ここにわざわざ来てるってことは夢に巻き込まれたゲストじゃないってことだと思うわだからケイコあんたこれから毎日ここに来ることになるわよ
Oh, see, all it takes is you sleeping with me.
何を根拠にバカバカしいです
Well, you see, all of us are like that.
まあ普通はそう思うよね
I could tell that Hirasaka was getting mad at Club Prez's and Alice's attitudes, which seemed to be saying, you really don't get it. Saki gave up on destroying the door. With her shoulders heaving, she brushed away my hand as I went to stop her. Ouch! She gave it one last kick before turning to Hirasaka and calmed her breathing.
だけど平坂さん、本当のことなんです。
Right after kicking the door. I love the faces Kaiko makes. It's just like like she's already sick of everyone's shit. Hirasaka had a dubious look on her face. Saki must have thought it was natural for Hirasaka to not believe. She knocked on the doors that still wouldn't open even though they had been broken.
私はここのことを起きても覚えています。兄さんもそこの弥生先輩も一緒です。
あれ私は
だってアリスさんはまだ起きてる時に会ったことないじゃないですか。
I'm sure we will. And you are the only one who knows and you only know about this place anyway, Dream Yokai.
いやそうだけどあと妖怪って言うな試験も学校もあるわ多分
We don't know that. Saki completely ignored Alice's appeal.
な
Damn.
ので朝になって起きたらさっき言ったように兄さんに説明を求めに部屋まで行きますから。
Yeah, that's... Oh no, and you're gonna see what I dressed her in? Oh, jeez.
だから兄さん、私のクラスメート相手に変なことはしないでおいてくださいね。
I haven't done shit to her yet. Those last words were without a doubt aimed at me. Her eyes weren't smiling at all. Whoop, whoop.
ここにいる人は別々の場所にいるのに同じ夢を見ているとでも言うんですか
Yeah, you got on really quick. That's pretty much the gist of it.
そうよ信じられないけど別に 仮にそれが本当だとしてもどうでもいいです。それにそんなことあるわけがないですから。
It's not impossible when dream bullshit is a thing. Club Prez got annoyed at Hirasaka, who looked like she really couldn't care less. That's just her face.
さきちゃんがせっかく注意してくれてるのにね。
Alice tilted her head as she put some fresh tea leaves into the pot.
だけどなんでケイコちゃんも来たんだろう。
I don't know, man. We all share something. Aren't you all thinking that she got involved because she slept in my bed in my or in my apartment? Well, that's what I always thought. She's in proximity to me. But even I thought that. But like
そうね。さきちゃんの時もそうだったんでしょ。
that was the case with both of these two. But Club Prez was not in my room when she was so yeah, but
兄さん、私だけじゃなくて、まさか弥生先輩も家に呼んで泊めたりしたことがあるんじゃないでしょうね。
I mean Saki had a cold smile on her face as she turned toward me. I haven't! The only one who stayed up the night besides you is Hirasaka. Tonight. There was actually no telling what would happen to me if I added, actually, Club Prez has too. Yeah, let's not bring that up. So Club Prez stopped it with that mischievous look.
私はなんでここにいるかわからないけど、弥生の場合はトールと普段から仲良しだったからとか。
I guess. Alice put her index finger on her chin, seemingly lost in thought.
もしくはトールが保健室で寝てて、ここに来てた時にそばでうたた寝してたからかしら。
Several times. The frigidity of Saki's gaze went beyond Hokkaido and was now in Russian airspace. It would soon be in the tundra, though the North Pole was still a bit away.
先輩のそばで寝るとこの夢に巻き込まれるんですか。
Well, with Saki and Club Prez, that's the only thing they have in common that I can think of. Saki and Club Prez interacted on a regular basis, so there were probably other things they had in common. But for Hirasaka to suddenly get involved, even though I barely knew her, and she's only slept in my place the one time, and the one time she ends up here, maybe something was happening with me as a focal point. When Hirasaka was having Alice pour her some fresh tea, she stared at Alice's face.
どうしたの？私の顔になんかついてるかな？
Oh, it's gonna be like, I recognize you.
いえ、ただどこかで会ったことがあるような気がして。
Yup, I recognize you. Are you in my class? Huh? Where? When? Why?
アリスって本当に実動してたのね。
兄さんの理想の女の人だとばっかり。
My ideal woman, huh? I had my doubts about that too, so I can't complain. But, wait! This is my ideal? This? Alice?
そうね、理想の女性像とか言われると照れ。トール、私のどこに文句があるの？
I don't have a complaint, I'm just saying. What? You're my ideal? God, well, you're... It was true that I couldn't come up with any complaints off the top of my head. Not really. But Hirasaka, can you remember where you saw Alice? At all? Anything?
いえ、知っている人に雰囲気が似ているなくらいしか。すいません。
She looked at Alice's face very carefully, but it looked like she couldn't remember. Maybe it's just because she's in the dream world.
いつもみたいに歌ってる時に見たとか。
ありえますね。たまに足を止めていく人もいますし。
I stopped. Remember? Remember that? Club Prez seemed to realize or remember something.
ああ、うちの学校のお偉いさんの家の子なのに路上詩人やってるのって稽古だったのね。詩なんて書いてません。歌ってるんです。
That's like poetry. Oh, Seeing how these two were acting, Saki gently pulled on my shirt.
あの二人仲悪いのかな。
I think their personalities conflict with each other. They don't seem to get along at all. Whenever Club Prez said something, Hirasaka would get all touchy, and I could tell Club Prez sometimes got annoyed at Hirasaka's words too. More drama in the dream. My stomach was starting to hurt. Oh, just wait till Maya shows up.
そうだわトール。分かってると思うけど、これに懲りたらホイホイ女の子を部屋に連れ込んじゃダメよ。
I can't help it when they just kind of flock to me. You make it sound like I do this all the time.
兄さん、今平坂さんを部屋に連れ込んでるのは誰ですか？
It's not me.
ともかく、ここをトールのハーレムにしたいんじゃなければ気をつけなさいよ。
Well, I can't possibly turn this into a harem because I don't think there's a I doubt there's even a harem route, just like there wasn't in Chrono Clock. It's probably bet the last ending is like the most emotional special ending you've ever seen. I know. Don't worry. I won't let people stay so easily. God. I don't really know. Harem endings are cool and all sometimes, but sometimes I also prefer just more of a single character. In, you know, because with a harem, it's kind of like you gotta like give them all some small amount of time because you only have time for one person, but you're trying to do it with all of them. You see what I mean? But they probably didn't trust me. What with Hirasaka's recent appearance. As I received threats and warnings from those around me, Alice was looking around.
どうしたんですか？鳥海さん。アリスでいいって。いや、ケイコちゃんが来たってことは、今日の夢の主役はケイコちゃんかなって。だからそろそろあの子が来る頃かなと思ったんだけど。
Yep, she's coming. I'm waiting for it. I had been worried about that too, but there was no sign of Maya so far. Or she might suddenly appear after making us think that, so I couldn't relax.
そういえば来ないわね、あの子。
兄さんがこんなことすると思ってなかったから、マヤちゃんも困ってるんじゃないのかしら。
予想外ってことは、本当に普段からこんなことしてるわけじゃなかったんですね。
兄さん、女の子に手が早いのか奥手なのかわからないから、そう思っても無理はないものね。
Hey, I'm quick with the ladies.
そうね。エッチなこと大好きだし、気軽に声とかかけるくせに。
Yeah, you of all people know after what we did. Club Prez, you'll cause another misunderstanding, so cut it out. Obviously, I was referring to Saki. As for Alice, she watched us with a smile, as though she found our exchange heartwarming. There were times when I saw her gazing at us from a little ways away when we were being rowdy like this. I can't. Anyway, Hirasaka, it's okay if you don't believe me right away, but will you listen to my explanation? I turned the conversation toward Hirasaka, who was watching as though she didn't care about anything, including us. The dream!
別に勝手に話す分には構いませんが。
Fucking, she just doesn't give a shit about anything. Club Rez looked like she wanted to say he ran away, but he must have thought about this room and what would happen if Maya appeared and realized an explanation was important because she didn't butt in. Saki gave an annoyed sigh, but she didn't pursue the topic any further. A bit relieved, I began explaining to Hirasaka about the events of the stream. And so, hours later, even though time flows differently in dreams, full exposition granted. For starters, about how all of us were having the same dream for some reason. About how, after coming here once, Saki and Club Prez had become regulars. About how we could usually remember what happened in this room even after we woke up. And about how Maya would appear and a dream would start. Oh, it's coming. You can't cockblock me with this one game. I know it's coming. We didn't know what would happen if one of us got swallowed by a dream, but we worked under the premise that we might not be able to wake up again. After explaining it all, I thought that Hirasaka would be incredulous and make fun of us, but...
そうですか。
Well, I didn't think she'd, like, do that. I thought she'd just... Because she doesn't care about anything, just... It wasn't like she hadn't been listening, nor did she look like she didn't comprehend it. We were puzzled, but we figured it was something you couldn't understand until you experienced it. In the end, Maya never turned up, and the tea party in that salon came to an end with the morning. What the fuck? She never actually showed up? Okay, that's weird. Oh, she's gonna show up next stream. Next stream she's coming. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Vroom! I woke up to the familiar sound of a car. Here she comes. There was no doubt that it was more from instinct than because of the volume that I woke up. Huh? What was that? Normally it was quieter. It never sounded this violent. But it was certainly a sound that I knew. In that case, I thought as I got up from the sofa and stretched, I felt sluggish all over. Probably because I slept in a way that I wasn't used to. Oh, yeah. I put on my glasses. At that exact moment, I heard a key being inserted in the door at the entrance swinging open. Hold on, do we... Just put this in... We all woke up at the same time. So, within a literal few second span, Saki got all the way over here and is already about to enter my room. That is how crazy bullshit her Takahara-san and her powers are. Oh, God.
兄さん、起きてるかしら？起きてるわよね。
Jesus Christ, Saki, calm down. The one who ran up, red-faced but with steady breaths as she pretended to be calm, was Saki. I'm awake, but it looks like there's a bit of lag between us. Even though we left that room at about the same time, Saki was already changed in here. Or, like I said, she's just that insane. Did that mean there was a time difference between when we woke up? I didn't think that's how it worked, but it might be.
お嬢様、そんなに急がなくても。
Wow, you actually have a sprite? Takahara-san entered from behind, obviously out of breath. Oh, crap. How fast did Saki run here? Ignoring my shock, Saki came into the apartment. After her, Takahara-san came in and closed the door. Saki, it's not Hirasaka's fault, so don't do anything weird. I stifled a yawn and turned on the heater. My mind drifted towards brushing my teeth when... Yeah, this isn't going to make me look good, especially in front of Takahara. Oh, no. We heard Hirasaka crawl out of bed. Saki froze in place. I turned around, still a little groggy, before I finally realized just how half-asleep I'd been. All I'd lent to Hirasaka was a single dress shirt. Yup. After rolling around in her sleep, it had become quite disheveled. Now I could see down her bare shoulder. She wasn't wearing anything under that, and the critical parts were just barely covered. But that wasn't the problem. Hirasaka wasn't a morning person, or rather, she was just doing things at her own pace as usual. Saki's face was red, and she looked like she was going to scream. She looked at Saki, then me, then Takahara-san, standing by the entrance.
おはようございます、先輩。蓮野さんが来てるってことは、あの夢、本当だったんですね。
I told you, the dream's real. You can't... You should just listen to me all the time. Ignoring the fact that Saki was panting heavily and her mouth was flapping as she held back a scream, Hirasaka really just took it all in stride, not inside. Oh, that sounded real weird. But because she had moved, the futon fell and the shirt slid some more. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is what I was afraid of. Since she wasn't wearing anything under the shirt, the instant I thought, Takahara-san grabbed me and turned me around. With my back to Hirasaka and Saki, my collar was grabbed.
Naito-kun, 私は君を信じていたんですが。
You know, you got the voice of a very strong woman, and I'd rather not get destroyed by you. So this is how I die. And the game ends. Well, it was a good run. Wait! Come to think of it, Takahara-san was like a guardian or supervisor to me. There was no way this being seen by her was a good thing. I don't know how much you heard from Saki, but I didn't do anything. She probably heard nothing from Saki. As I was wondering what I should say next, and whether I should explain everything from the beginning.
安心しました。よくやりましたね。
Do what? Huh? Takahara-san happily slapped my shoulder. What? What was Takahara-san saying? Saki was shocked too, and Hirasaka was now standing with her shirt properly buttoned up. What do you mean?
言ったままの意味です。内藤君もまさかこちらのお嬢さんに手を出した挙句、お嬢様もいただきたいなんていう腐れ下道じゃないでしょうし。
I see. You.
本当に安心しました。そちらのお嬢さんも野良犬に噛まれたようなものとは言わずに末永く彼をお願いします。
Takahara-san forced Saki to bow in Hirasaka's direction.
ちょっと待って高原さん、それどういう意味ですか？
内藤君がこちらのお嬢さんを連れ込んだんでしょ？この格好から見て既成事実もありそうですし、まさか何もなかったなんてないでしょ？
But how does that explain me sleeping on the couch? It was true that the girl had stayed the night and was now wearing nothing but a dress shirt, but honestly nothing happened, so I didn't know what to say.
彼女がいるならお嬢様はもういいでしょ？ねえ。
Yep, that's exactly why I knew it. Hold on! Not that I did anything to Hirasaka, but I mean, in this situation, isn't it strange to be congratulating me? Takahara-san, you're like my guardian, aren't you? You said that yourself, didn't you?
若いうちは仕方ないんじゃないですか？万が一否認に失敗しても相手がお嬢様じゃなければ構いませんよ。
Yeah, as long as we're not with Saki, it's all fine. You should mind, and we didn't do anything like that anyway. Takahara-san clicked her tongue with an expression that was obviously mocking me. Though she appeared to have a good upbringing, it was times like these that I understood why there were people in the company that held her in high regard.
平坂さん、本当に何もされてないんですか？
We already went over this.
下着を見られた程度でしょうか。別にしてくれても構わないと言ったんですけど。
See, she gave me permission, but I didn't do it.
内藤君は今日は欠席ね。きちんと学校にはごまかして連絡を入れておきます。さあ、お嬢様行きましょう。邪魔なんてしてはいけませんよ。
Wait, hold on, what the fuck? No!
なんで今から既成事実を作らせようとするんですか？それに平坂さんにも今日学校はあります。
He felt that. Takahara-san thought for a moment.
では、思い出の日ということで。
God damn it. Why is my acting guardian recommending that I skip school the most? This adult was no good.
内藤君の風紀よりもお嬢様のこれからを守る方が大事だからに決まってるじゃないですか。何よ分かりきったことを。
God damn it. There's something wrong with that line of reasoning. Even though I did what I could to be a decent, reasonable member of society, why were all the people around me getting in my way? As I worried sadly, Saki put her hand on my shoulder.
さてと、そういうならそれで兄さん、一体どうしてこうなったのかしっかり聞かせてもらおうかしら。
I'm being attacked from all sides and just in the morning. I was trying to be kind, but I thought I would just let her stay one night and that would be the end of it. I sighed at how my best intentions only ended up exploding in my face. Hirasaka, who had been gazing at this situation, also sighed as though it was a pain. Misunderstandings, man. You gotta love them. Oh, I like this song. Then I explained the situation as we ate the breakfast that Takahara-san had prepared. Of course, I couldn't explain about how Saki knew about it from the dream, so I just talked about what happened last night. Oh. So I just let her stay one night. Takahara-san was the only one who nodded as she listened. Saki just gazed at me coldly, as I'd expected.
兄さんは同じ学校の学生ならあまり面識がなくても止めちゃうんですね。
What were... I guess that makes sense. Well, like think about that in reality for a second. If you're out, it's raining, and you see, like a randomly, let's just say a young girl in the rain, looking like she has nowhere to go. Would you actually invite her over to your place? Probably not. Would you strike up conversation with her? Probably not. It's just anime. Not everyone. If I didn't know her name, for example, I wouldn't. I didn't think Hirasaka would do anything strange, and she was pretty mature about it all, so... Well, something strange almost happened, and I was at a loss of what to do, but... Saki gave me an annoyed look.
平坂さんが悪いことをするとは私も思わないけれど。
Despite her being the subject of our conversation, Hirasaka silently munched away at her breakfast. I figured her lack of burp was more because she wasn't a morning person than any sort of annoyance at the topic at hand.
それだけ分かっていれば、何かあった時に相手の身元もすぐに分かりますしね。
Takahara-san had just a coffee for herself. She had probably already eaten.
なるほど。確かに事情はよく分かりました。内藤君が本当に善意で平坂さんを止めたということも。
Why was she looking at me like she wanted to click her tongue?
とはいえ、その事情はともかく、若い子がこんなところに泊まるのは感心できませんね。
Man, even regardless of the circumstances, I was relieved to hear something that sounded like common sense come out of her mouth. Then again, I was the one who was going to get chewed out for it.
以前見たときは、こんなことをするタイプには見えなかったんですが。
She said this while looking at Hirasaka, not me. Whew.
あれ、高原さん、平坂さんと面識ありましたっけ？
I assume she's met a lot of people.
ありますよ。というか、お嬢様もその場にはいたと思いますけど。
The fuck, Blizzard? Saki tilted her head in confusion as she chewed on her bread. Didn't look like it rang any bells. Saki!
何か学校行事で会いましたっけ？
いえ、学校ではなく、今年初めの新年会です。覚えてらっしゃいませんか？地元企業の代表が集まったことがあったでしょ？
Now that sounds like sounds reasonable. Saki looked like she was trying to remember somehow, but apparently she couldn't think of it.
覚えてなくても無理はないです。なんで私があそこにいたのかもわからない場でしたし。
I don't know why I was there either. She sounded like she cared even less than she had before. Dude, she don't care.
それを言ったら私も。
Do you feel bad about yourselves now? Takahara-san looked genuinely troubled. Saki was an only child, and even though the presidency of Hasuno Security Services wasn't hereditary, Saki was clearly going to become a pretty important figure in the company. For her to say that she didn't care about corporate get-togethers probably troubled even Takahara-san. It was a party, okay? Parties suck.
まあ、 お嬢様も学生ですし、それほど重要視しなくてもまだ構いませんけれど。
私も顔を見せることに意味があるというのは分かってはいます。
At least I know that.
けど、ああいうところってことあるごとにお見合いの話をされたりするから、すぐにでも忘れたくて。
Oh, that sounds terrible. I only meant that it was a world far removed from an ordinary person like me, but Saki and Takahara-san glared at me.
まあ、今は平坂さんです。わざわざ私からお家に知らせるようなことはしませんが。
Oh, really? Don't you usually talk about that being an adult's duty or something?
事情も知らないのに首を突っ込みたくないから、見て見ぬふりするのも大人の素養ですよ、内藤君。
Damn, adults play dirty. You're damn right we do.
兄さんも私相手に見て見ぬふりするの得意なくせに。兄さんって汚いわ。
Shut up. Saki's words were like a knife being gently shoved into my chest without any resistance.
ただ、それも平坂さんが自分で責任を取れる間だけですので。
分かってます。これ以上ハスノさんにご迷惑をおかけするつもりはありません。
Unless I get locked out and Saki has to come over again.
それを聞いて安心しました。このまま内藤君のところに居座るつもりなら、さすがに連絡しないとならないところでしたから。
Takahara-san, is it okay as long as she doesn't stay here?
きちんと今夜は家に帰って心配させなければいいんじゃないでしょうか。昨日だって外泊したことがバレなければいいんです。
ねえ、それは私にも適用されないんですか？
No.
泊まりに行く先が女の子のところであって、ここじゃなければ私だってうるさく言いません。
I like that. And not here. Saki hesitated. I actually agreed with Takahara-san.
まあ、万が一バレたらお嬢様のところにいたことにしてもいいとは思いますけれど、平坂さんに恩も売れますし。
父がその程度で恩義を感じるとは思いません。
Oh, yeah, it doesn't sound like your dad cares too much about you, huh?
世間体と大人の話ですから。そういったことは平坂さんは守る方ですよ。
That sounds a little harsh.
親子仲が円満に見えたら、このトゲもなくなると思いますよ。
Takahara-san smiled sweetly.
確かに。うちは家族としてはどうかと思います。
I like her little, like, random comments that she says. Hirasaka sighed.
あと、先輩のところに泊まってたってことで大丈夫です。
あ、それは保護者としてうちが困るんです。後輩連れ込んで不純異性交友なんて、いくら未遂とはいえ。
I didn't do shit to her. Well, if it's okay to say that she was at Saki's house, then I think that would be better considering the consequences otherwise.
いっそ不純でない異性交友として突き詰めてしまえばいいんですが。
But we didn't do anything! What a double standard. There was no consistency between how she was as an adult and how she was as Saki's protector.
着替える前の平坂さんのあの格好を見て、何人が兄さんの言い分を信じると思います？
Ooh. Sagi smiled. Certainly I could understand how it would be hard to believe.
そういうのしたかったり、ああいう格好好きなら私がしてあげるのに。
If you were to wear my dress shirt, your breasts would be popping out the entire time. It only worked because she has small ones. I pretend not to hear that and sip at my coffee. Yeah, I really am good at turning a blind eye, aren't I?
どうしても帰れない事情があるなら、うちに泊めて差し上げることもできますが。
Yeah, that's how Hasuno Security got some of their employees. She would probably be treated as Saki's guests, though.
大丈夫です。今日は帰ります。そもそも先輩のところに泊まっていったのも、家の鍵をなくしたのが原因ですから。
And how no one cared to open the door.
それ、帰っても開けられないんじゃないの？
大丈夫です。日が暮れる前ならいくらでもやりようがありますから。
Why does she say it like that?
そうですか。ならそういうことで。
Hirasaga looked at Takahara-san as though she saw something unusual.
高原さんがどうかしましたか？
いえ、何でもありません。
Weird. Hirasaga resumed eating, apparently not intending on saying anything more. I was curious, but it was almost time for school, so I decided to stay silent. I'm surprised she actually had a sprite, though. I guess when it's oh god, I guess when it's a visual novel that's got a lot of detail and small little shits that make it, like, more presentable and enjoyable. Of course, a character that's constantly referenced is gonna have a sprite at least, right? Right?